Hi guys, I am John Carrick, author of Legacy of a Mad Scientist and the Legend of Ashley Fox. And today we have 100 Bullets number 40, Lono. But first we have the World Fantasy Tarot, the Tower, the Gargoyle. This is the Batman card if there is one. And again, the synchronicity with the comic is so obvious. Yesterday's Tooth Fairy was Benito Medici having ice cream with the cute girl at the cafe. Wait till you see what happens today. And there's some stuff I want to talk about too. I don't know if I have not been promoting Alex Hormozi enough. He probably wouldn't want to be associated with this channel, but that's okay. That kid is giving out some really important free information that cost him a lot to learn. So if you have a job that is not a guaranteed salary, and even if you are a trust fund kid, unless you work for the government or the city or some sort of, university or a science institution or something like that, where your salary is pinned to means beyond your control, you need to listen to Alex Hormozi. He has given out information you need. No matter what, if you have to work for a living, you need to listen to that kid. He has given out free information that is gold. And today, in today's world, information is everything. 100 Bullets 40, we're going to see where Lono hits the mark and falls short. There's two ways to get it wrong in this life. You can get it obviously wrong and fall short of your mark, not have enough, not be there, not fulfill enough of the check boxes that you need to hit, or you can go overboard and overdo it. And there's a saying, nothing fails like success. That's because success doesn't teach you anything. If you succeed too early, you didn't get it wrong, but you don't know where you got it right. So you guys remember Rude Dog? Some of you probably don't. Also, one other thing I want to say that I should be saying, author of Legacy of a Mad Scientist, Legend of Ashley Fox, but this is a channel. Now, I've been leaning into the racism and the shit talking this past week, probably to the, I want to say chagrin, but I really don't know what that word means, probably to the disappointment of some family friends who've known me for a long time and have found this channel. I imagine they're a little disappointed or maybe even disgusted in my psychosociopathy. I don't know that that's a word either, but the reason I'm doing this channel is dedicated to taking back white culture from Jews and blacks for whites and Asians. This is the new Axis powers right here. Alpha Channel Studios is going to make fiction, video games, and cartoons and movies and comics for whites and Asians. Blacks, if you want to behave, you're welcome to come along, but you step out of line, you're getting thrown off the bus. We will not have any Johnny Somalis here running around behaving like little ingrates in our video game world. And since right now it's just a YouTube channel, those are all pie in the sky ideals. But that's who this channel is for. Whites and Asians who want to take Western culture back. And believe me, they're coming for you too, Japan. I never learned how to speak Irish, but I did learn how to speak Japanese. So maybe that makes me a race traitor on some level. I'm not dead yet. I can still learn to speak Irish. So here we go. And remember, Japan, it was the Jews who created the nuke. And when they couldn't drop it on Germany, they're the ones who pressed General Graves to drop it on Japan. Not the other way around. The Jew media is telling you that the American army wanted to drop it on Japan, but that's not true. It's the Jews who wanted to drop the nuke so everyone could see what they've made. It's their bomb. So let's go. Rude Dog. Lono is flipping him off, getting close. I saw a black guy the other day trying to slap a lion, and the lion caught his hand. He climbed over one set of fences and got it right up to the lion's cage at a zoo and was reaching between the bars and doing, slap hands with a lion, and a lion caught his hand and didn't let go. I saw another one not too long ago, a guy playing tug of war with a female lioness making no progress. And he was a big guy. He was one of these 260 sort of power lifter guys. And this thing was just jerking him around. They had a rope through one of those bulletproof glasses that went into the lion's cage, and the lion was just calmly holding it, but whenever she wanted to pull back, he got pulled off his feet. So Lono is here playing games with Rude Dog, and he's just a little bit faster, and Shepherd catches him at it. This is so good. The dialogue is really good too. So I'm going to be lifting this up and then putting it down again to read some of the dialogue. I just read it a few minutes ago and I've already forgotten most of it. I didn't remember this book from when I read it a long time ago, and book 25 is turning out to be really important. Everyone's talking about what happened in Atlantic City. They talked about it in the last one with Augustus and Benito Medici, and they're talking about it in this one too, between Lono and Shepherd. And the dialogue is not noir, but it's awesome. Lono says, "God, you are one big, dumb, mean son of a bitch, aren't you?" And Shepherd says, "Yeah, well, what's the saying? Takes one to know one." I guessed that, so I get to say it. It takes one to know one. Yeah. Again, the silhouettes, perfect. This is working out so well for Eduardo Risso. He's able to pop the panels in and out. He pushes your focus with the blacks. Well, it is what it is. He uses the blacks to set your focus, right? Yeah, know what I want to do to you? I have an idea. Aces, so spill. They're talking about what's going on and about what happened in Atlantic City. Shepherd specifically has a job for Lono. He wants to hire him. They need to take out a guy. And Lono has some questions about who the guy is. Stacy Keibler is one of the, or at least was 25 years ago, most beautiful women in the world. Hands down. We're going to talk about that in a second. But first, and this kind of sucks that this interrupts this scene, but it's okay. They're having a conversation. Who is this guy? I can't tell you. What's he done? None of your business. He hasn't done anything yet, but he could do something. He has some ideas that could be bad for the trust. I know I'm going through this a little fast. I'm excited. Plus, I just got back from my 1-week follow-up from the doctor this morning. My eye is healing well. I can take the patch off. I don't know if I'm going to do an on-camera bit today or tomorrow. We'll see. Maybe Friday. It's only Wednesday now. So my eye is still pretty swollen up. I look like Popeye. One eye's, basically swollen closed. This guy's out running. Lono is waiting for him with a Magnum baseball bat. Shepherd tells him, "We want the guy to disappear, or if he's found, it has to be messy. It has to look random. It can't look like a hit." I don't remember this girl's name. Doesn't matter. Stacy Keibler is much prettier. And you know what else? This is kind of awesome. I just discovered, I had always thought that after Daredevil season 2, Elektra just disappeared. I'd watched the other Netflix Marvel shows, Jessica Jones and Power Fist and Iron Luke Cage, whatever his name was. And I never watched The Defenders, which is the sequel to Elektra. So I'm getting to watch that. And I'm going to kind of do not a humble brag at all. I'm going to brag. My ex looked exactly like Deborah Ann Wall, who plays Karen Page, and her name was even Deborah Ann. So that's weird, but it is what it is. And here we go. This guy's running. He meets Lono's bat. Very random. Takes the wallet. And Shepherd pays Lono, and he's paying him $500,000, and he pays him in $1,000 bills. Lono doesn't, so this is where you can screw up. Lono is screwing up because he's overconfident. You guys should read the books by Howie Wasden and Eric Haney. Eric Haney was he was really the first graduate of the Delta Force School. He was involved in the helicopter crash they had in the late 80s, I want to say 89, where some Marine Corps helicopter pilots ran their helicopters into each other because they hadn't been practicing the maneuvers they had to do, and really messed up an op. Sort of the first real op since Vietnam. Whatever. I don't know that much about it. I read the book. I listened to the audiobook. And Howie Wasden's book about getting into the Navy SEALs and getting his legs shot up in Somalia during Black Hawk Down. Anyhow, all of this is This is just fantastic. The dialogue here is great. I'm going to pull this up because I want to look at it a little bit. This is Pittsburgh, home of Rocky Balboa. I didn't know it was out on a peninsula like that. So this is where they're meeting to get paid, and he hands Lono an envelope of $1,000 bills. Lono doesn't seem to care. Graves says, come on, Shepard. I hope I haven't been calling him Graves this whole time. Shepard says, you shouldn't have any trouble spending it. Come on, man. And they go back and forth. Shepard wants Lono to pick a side between the Trust and him and Graves. And he still works for the Trust, but there is a war coming. It hasn't been explained to him who's on which side. Essentially, members of the Trust are trying to kill each other, like the brother and sister in John Wick 3 or 2. I think it's 2, where John Wick has to kill that guy's sister. It's a little similar to that, right? Members of the Trust are killing each other to solidify their power. Members of the family. And of course, the power just gets handed down the family line, so they're replacing one leader of a family with another leader of a family. Here's where we get one of those panels that I don't like. It's my only complaint in this entire series. But the dialogue is so good, the story is so good. These two go back and forth about what this means, and Shepard is handling threats from Lono exceedingly well. He's not scared of him. And remember, Lono has access to these untraceable guns. Lono is overconfident. He's always had the Trust in his back pocket. They go back and forth about who is this, what's going on, dangerous people. You remind them who I am. Oh, they know, Lono. They know. Just such a magnificent comic. Pittsburgh Bridges, huh? So, Lono is now heading home. Now remember, the last time we saw him was with Echo after they killed Milo Garrett, after Lono killed Milo Garrett. And I was flipping through some of the back issues. Milo Garrett was the guy who broke Mr. Branch's fingers when Branch started investigating the Trust. Before he got his bandages, that was Milo. That was Milo's face who did that. And Milo was a tough, rather tough guy. Buffer than both Wiley and Cole. Not as big as Jack, but medium build. You know, my height, but a little bit heavier set than me. Lono and Jack are both much bigger guys. So Lono's returning to his hotel motel. This lady's back behind the bulletproof glass. Says, I've been missing that sweet mush of yours. Oh, it's you. What? And look at how well this is laid out. There's a lot of detail that went into laying out this room. Like, you know, I swear to God, Eduardo Risso grew up on the East Coast and he's had to go out and visit places like this to lay it out, or he's so good at doing it in his head. She's behind bulletproof glass. He wants to pay up for a couple extra, nights, days, whatever. Gives her $1,000 bill. And she says, I can't break that. And he says, yeah, seeing it's not a mirror. The jokes are awesome. And if they were said with a little less viciousness, they'd really be funny. And he says, I'll come down tomorrow and get the change. And if you don't have it, maybe we can spend some time together. And she calls him an asshole. And he goes, well, we'll do it in the mouth then. Just nonstop. This dialogue is so good. You know, Ben Edlund of The Tick got picked up by Hollywood and really kind of stopped doing comics. I think they're still doing The Tick, but it's not written or drawn by him. He writes comedy for TV shows. It's, I don't know what happened to Brian Azzarello, but I hope he's getting work writing dialogue for the WB, although we would know that because their shows would be better and be worth watching, and they're not. At least they weren't back when I, used to watch television. The WB doesn't even exist anymore. I think it's the CW now, and then it's still gone. Echo is up waiting in his room. Honey, I'm home. She wants to get out of this dump. Where you been? Getting paid? I like the look of that. Yeah, I like the view too. He's sitting on the toilet. She wants to get out of this place. Hellblazer, Lord of the Rings. I heard somewhere, I think John Malin mentioned that the local theater by him was playing the extended version of Lord of the Rings. It's too bad that was never, transferred to film. They're literally playing it off a DVD or a hard drive because you can't be switching out discs. It's just a giant television. They have digital projection there. I promise you it's not being played off of film. Silent Hill. There is a magic to film. I don't know if you guys realize this. This is what Steven Spielberg was so mad about when he had to go to digital for whatever movie it was. Film, technically, and Quentin gets this too. Technically, those are derivative atoms of the original light that you're seeing trapped on the film, transferred to the negative, and then rebroadcast into your eyes. Do you guys get that? When it goes digital, that is lost. They become pixels. They're not silver nitrate grains that originally trapped the original colors. That's why Quentin does film screenings. He gets prints. Now, a lot of times they're prints of digital media, and it's not quite the same. It's really kind of gone away. I'm spacing on the Technicolor, closed down. Deluxe, I think they went out of business. So there was a time where you were literally getting diluted but source light from the original event. Like, let that sink into your head for a second. We don't get that anymore. It doesn't mean it can't come back. We still have the technology to do it. Be way more expensive because the support structures aren't there anymore. You don't have people developing film at every corner pharmacy. Anyhow, she says this place stinks. Oh, she says all I see he said it's the view. Remember, so 4 pages ago. Fucking 4 pages, you guys. I should just rip these out. He says I like the view, blah blah blah. She says all I see are stains. It's called atmosphere. It stinks. That's me. The dialogue is great. The dialogue is just magnificent. So I hate it here. Well, get out. Peel off a few of those bills. Go buy yourself a dress. She says, you'll be here when I get back? Yeah, give me the newspaper. I'll be down in the bar. Lono's problem is that he's overconfident. He doesn't think he can be beat, and he thinks he has more value than he does. And I am spoiling too much by saying that to you guys. So who said this isn't dirty enough? It's dirty enough. Newspaper, downtown bank robbed. Lono's hanging out at the bar. He says, hey friend, how about a refill? And what's your name? Green. Green, that's my favorite color. Why don't you buy me some drinks? We're going to be friends. I only buy drinks for my friends. Well, I tip well for my friends. He tips them $1,000. Cheers, buddy. That's brilliant. That's brilliant. You can always make friends if you can give them gifts. Friends appreciate gifts. And doesn't everybody? Who doesn't like ice cream? So, the old lady is pointing the cops up the stairs. What? Those ain't the kind of people who come in looking to rent a room. They friends of yours? I never tipped them in my life. Now we cut back to the scene between Lono and Shepard, where Shepard is pressuring Lono to pick a side. Lono is saying he's on his own. He doesn't pick sides. Why would he pick a side? He's his own man. He doesn't care about this war between Shepard and Graves. Shepard and Graves are now working together, but Graves is still outlawed from the trust. Lono asks Shepard whose side he's on. Meanwhile, back at the bar, she walks in and sees Lono's in there. He puts a gun to her head, takes her hostage. This dialogue is so good. I really should commit it to memory. Green, remember what I said about that no-good bastard in 311? That he was a no-good bastard. I was right. There's cops up there looking for him. What for? You don't want to kill her, friend. Hell, I don't. You don't want to have a murder rap tagged to you. I got a hunting license and tough old birds are in season. That page of dialogue is so good. This should have been a TV show, a video game. Hitman. 3 failed movies? At least 2. Well, you're one cool customer, I'll give you that. And it ain't gonna matter where you're going. I ain't going nowhere. Yeah? Well, neither's your bird. They picked her up at the airport trying to pass off that money that was stolen in the bank robbery, trying to catch a flight out of town. They got you dead to rights, and that bill that you gave me, the serial numbers match. Motherfucker. Freeze. Solid page. Again, these ads are just in the wrong place. These 2 pages should be back to back. But you know what? It's probably better that we get the page turn and see this after a second, because you get all the dialogue first. And you still get the same thing. And again, the silhouette cutting off the background. It doesn't get better than this, guys. It really doesn't. They spent their time working this out. They really did. I said, freeze, drop it. Now, drop your weapon. Lono makes the right choice, drops his weapon, and then we get the scene from The Matrix when they try to grab Carrie-Anne Moss's Trinity's hand in the opening scene, and she takes the cop's hand and takes over, takes the gun, and doesn't hesitate. Kills him right off the bat. Look at that. And also, this is, you don't get this every day. Is that Stacy? Doesn't matter. The other cop has heard the gunshot, is coming down the stairs. They trade bullets. The cop loses. This is what I was mentioning about Eric Haney and Howie Wasden. In Delta training, when they started Delta Force, it was after the airline hijackings. And what they learned to do, what they taught the operators to do, was to fire at people's heads peering over the backs of airline seats. So in that very small space where you can stand up in the center of the aisle, to trade gunfire with guys hiding in seats ahead of them toward the cockpit, presuming that the bad guys are between the air marshal at the back of the plane and the cockpit at the front of the plane. They have to move forward through the airliner and take out bad guys hiding ahead of them by shooting the small top of their forehead from eyes peering over the back of a seat. That's their target. That was what they had to focus on. Not to hit the sides of the aircraft while it's in the air, just to hit the meat ahead of them. Lono has clearly had that level of, he's got a level of cruelty and violence that is unique, but he's also a dead shot. He's had lots of time to practice. This cop is not up to the challenge. Cops spend their time writing reports. They do not spend their time at the range. They're not Mel Gibson. They're not Martin Riggs, who was formerly in the Phoenix Company in Vietnam. That's not who they are. That's who Lono is. But Lono doesn't understand strategy. Lono is default aggressive to the extent that it makes him predictable. He took $500,000 in $1,000 bills and tried to spend them everywhere like a bully right after a bank robbery. He knows how Shepard and Graves operate. He knows what they're up to. Why was that money not suspect to him? Now he walks out the front door. He just killed 2 police officers. Did he think they were there by themselves? Did he think they were there without backup? That's Al Pacino and the black dude in Heat. They still had a ton of cops behind them. He walks out into shotguns. It doesn't matter how magic his gun is. Lono and Echo's in the back of the car. She told them where he was. Here we get our second or third obligatory panel where the face fills the entire frame. He's not going to win this. And you know what? In this comic, he's not going to win this. He might survive, but I don't think so. I think that's the end of Lono in 100 bullets. Now, yesterday I said that 39 could have been the first issue, not with an avalanche like this coming downhill. You needed all that setup to get this scene. To make this comic work, you needed everything. There's a back and forth with Shepard where Lono says Graves tried to kill him. And Shepard says, if he tried to kill you, you'd be dead. Well, if I see him, he'll be dead. That was Lono's response. This is comic book, this is fiction writing at its best, and it comes with images. It's not just a novel, it's not just a short story. This is as good as fiction gets. Got one in the face, or his nose is bleeding because he took one in the lungs. Upper thorax, he's not an insect. Upper chest. Blew him back through the doors. Blood Rain. Uwe Boll did this movie with Christina Loken, who was La Femme Nikita for a bit, wasn't she? And she also... Nah, I'm spacing on the name of the girl who was the Terminator in like the 4th or 5th movie. Anyhow, this is going to be it for today. I'm going to give my eye a couple more days to start looking normal again before I get on camera. I did pick something up really nice over the weekend to celebrate my eye surgery, and I will show it to you guys as soon as we come back. But again, I want to reiterate, this channel is about taking Western culture back from the Jews and the blacks for whites and Asians. It's going to be, consider it invite only. And if you're not a white acting black man like Denzel Washington or Michael Jai White, see yourself to the exit. You're the reason that every supermarket I go to now has burglar bars, because y'all been wheeling entire carts full of fucking groceries out the doors. Society doesn't need you. Go back to Africa. Jews, fucking go to Madagascar. The future is for whites and Asians. We are the Axis powers. The Jew fears the samurai. Tomorrow belongs to me. See you guys tomorrow.